I know what you're thinking. What could this woman say to help me? She looks like the love child of Steven Seagal and Demi Moore. Give a minute, it'll soak in. I am Greek, which means if you saw a big fat Greek wedding, you know we celebrate life. And I have the privilege to have a lot of wise relatives, like my grandfather, Papu. And he always said, you measure a person's height from here up. And what he meant by that is, you can always tell how tall a person is by the way he or she thinks. My name is Kelli Vrla, CSP. I am an engagement specialist. I'm a road warrior for helping people tap in to what their energy is so they can get more done, have more fun. I help CEOs really understand their people so they can motivate them to do amazing things. You know what it's like when you're surrounded by a lot of tall people, don't you? In fact, I couldn't wait to go visit my grandparents, and we gathered around with all my cousins, and we had the height chart. You know what I'm talking about? It's a place on the wall that had all the marks from all my cousins and every date that we've come back to visit, and it would measure how much we'd grown since our last visit. And I remember it was my turn, and I'd stand up the chart, and just before that pencil was ready to make the mark, what would I do? Yes, I would stretch as high as I could. Why? Because I wanted that measurement to be as high as it could ever be. That stretch is what it feels like to be totally engaged. Well, my experience revolves around engagement. I have always worked in an industry. I started in the broadcast industry, radio, and I was on the air and also helping drive promotions, engaging people. And then I worked with staffs as leadership positions to try to help people understand what makes them tick, you know, and what keeps them going and drives them. And so I've always worked around engagement in many different industries. Now, what exactly is engagement? Well, in my 20 years studying that topic, I will tell you the very best definition I ever heard comes from the gentleman, David Zinger, founded the Engagement Network. 8 little words: great work, done well, with others, every day. Let me say that again. Great work, done well, with others, every day. 8 little words with very big impact. What I want to share with you is a way that you can get your people to tap in, tune in, and turn on so they are ready to engage fully in what they're doing. You know, a lot of people go as motivational speakers, but that's not me. I'm an irritational speaker, okay? So here's what that means. I irritate you. I want to get under your skin just a little bit, because if I do, then you're going to think differently. And if you think differently, well, then you'll probably act differently if it's of value to you. There's nothing like going to a conference, getting all jazzed up about it, and then planning to do stuff, but you don't. And so I want to really get in there, and I want to hear you say something like, ooh, that makes me so mad, she's right, and you do something about it. You know, there are 3 parts to engagement, and let me tell you, it blends so well with being Greek, because even in Greek, we have natural engagement. We even have a word to celebrate engagement. We call it opa. And when we say opa to people, we say, I want you to go all out to be all in. I wish for you abundance, happiness, prosperity. And we say, opa. So when I say opa, people will say it back. And we really mean it because we're totally passionate about what it is. So for you to enjoy opa with your people, I'm going to invite you to embrace this, and there's 3 critical parts to it. The O is for optimize, the P is for personalize, and the A is for actualize. Now, of all of these things we talk about, actualize is really the most critical part.
Kelli has an extraordinary ability to deliver real powerful insights in a crystal clear way with humor. The crowd was in stitches, and at the same time, everybody took home the main point of her message. Really, really well done. Would love to see her again.
What else can you say but Opa? She gives you the tools from her incredible Greek background, not to mention all the hysterical stories that go with it, and talks to you about really how to optimize and personalize and really actuate all of the changes that we need to do to make ourselves happier at work and better at work, to really stretch into ourselves. And I'm feeling a little bit taller myself today.
It was so wonderful that she brought in stories of her family as a way to help us learn more about how to be engaged. It was fantastic.
Kelli was phenomenal. It was a great time. Laughed, felt the message, and I look forward to bringing her back.
My cousin, Aristotle, used to say, I know, he's a distant cousin, but I know we're related. He said, to know and not to do, you're no better off than the one who never knew. So I'm going to invite you to make sure that you can explain to people the difference between intent and impact, the difference between conversation and implementation. So they can walk their talk and they can give hip service to the lip service, so they can see the tractions of their actions, and they can take ordinary and they can bump it up to extraordinary, so they can stretch higher than ever before. OPA is something that you can embrace and help all people. You know, my clients usually experience heightened awareness for engagement. They are able to pinpoint what the culture is that they really want to put into place. You know, you'd be surprised how many people have heard the word engagement, but they're not really familiar with it. So we're talking about lower turnovers. We're talking about less absenteeism. We're talking about people who really tapped into teamwork and higher sales. That's what engagement's about, and that's what I help them do. You know, I was having lunch with a CEO recently, and I asked him, I looked around, I said, how many people work here? And he looked around and he goes, about half. The only problem is we're not sure which half. Well, with OPA, you can get those metrics. You can help people optimize and personalize and actualize so that they can bump things up, and you can get great work done well with others every day. I say to all of you,